All right. So I guess before we start, is there anything, because like you mentioned like wave control and stuff, is there anything you think you're really bad at, or you're just like not really sure what exactly you're doing wrong, or like yeah, just what do you think?
Um, I think I tend to be pretty bad at recognizing when other people make mistakes and like capitalizing on it. And sometimes I'll kind of tunnel vision on what I think should happen. And then instead of going with the reality of what's happening, like I'll just try to make what I want it to work.
Okay, so you think you just have some kind of like almost like preconceived idea of what you want to do, and then you don't really like adapt to that much? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
I was just saying, so you think you kind of have some maybe like struggle with adapting a bit, or do you think it's just like you have an idea in your head and you just kind of stick to that, or you know?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, let's just start it and see what happens. Okay, so you're playing what is this? Kaiser Zyra versus what are we versus? Chat off. I respect that. Okay, Kaiser Zyra versus Twitch Nami. Okay, and you guys will want to start in lane, I assume. Okay, so if the enemy bot is leeching, I think it's fine for you to leash as well. But I don't know. In range versus range matchups, normally people way well, you probably know this. Like people way prefer to start in lane because having the bush control is really important, and whoever can push in their range versus range matchup is like really advantaged. So it's like maybe a minor thing because yeah, you both ended up leeching, so it's not an issue. But if the enemy bot weren't leashing, I think you'd be at like a really big disadvantage for helping leash. I think you would be better off to just like let him solo start. Now, if he gets like upset or whatever, you probably do have to go leash him, unfortunately. But I guess it's like I just want it to be known, I guess, that it's sort of a big deal. Whoever gets to start in lane.
Okay.
Okay, so come here. Good little harass. Okay. Here you've got the push. Everything's looking good so far. Okay, I'd say this is like the first big thing. So, especially in again like range versus range matchups, the cooldowns are really really important because well, I mean honestly melee champs too, but like a lot of these range champs, they only have like say one trading cooldown. So like for Nami, it's like her W, and Twitch, I guess it's his W and E, but obviously only has one here, right? And now I don't know the bot lane cooldowns off by heart, but like if we just let me just like look at these champs. It's like what have we got? Nami's W is probably like 9 seconds or something. 10-second cooldown. And Twitch's W, what is Twitch?
I think it's like 8 seconds.
Okay, 13. So both of these are like reasonably long, right? It's like 10 and 13. So right here, like okay, 13-second cooldown used and like 10-second cooldown used here, right? And Zyra has E because she used it before, and you're gonna have Q as well, which makes like this little trade you go for here, this is really good, right? Like because what happened is like you got to use Q, Zyra got to use E, and then you guys just kind of like disengage. But I think like if you're gonna do this, you probably want to look to Q earlier because you want to make this trade happen like before their cooldowns come back up, you know, like because like what ends up happening is like you guys get a good trade. Like if you just pause at this point, it's like really in your favor, right? But the problem
Hmm.
is the cooldowns come back up, Nami gets W, Twitch gets W, and now the trade actually ends up like it's still good, I would say, but it's like not that great, right? So
Yeah.
let me get a notepad. This is Heista versus Twitch. Okay. So first thing,
Is this being recorded?
yeah, I can
Okay.
upload it for you. Okay, early game. So cooldowns, I think just like knowing how long each cooldown is, like yeah, just like know how long they are, and then really be like aware of them when you're trading. Because I think even here, like okay, let's just say, I think you should probably use your Q earlier. But even if you don't use your Q, the trade is still pretty good right now. You know, like you just got a free auto on him and you can just back. But the longer this takes, it's like, and especially by the way, after Zyra's used E, because it's like, okay, right now you have like quite a lot of threat. Zyra's used E, So it's going to be their turn to punish really soon. So you can't really stay here too long. It's definitely more difficult, I think, to do this in bot lane because there's like 2 sets of cooldowns to worry about. But it's basically like, yeah, how long they are. Try and just like start tracking them, track if they are up or not, and like think about your support's cooldowns as well. Because like if your support doesn't have anything, that's like probably when they're gonna look to be aggressive.
Okay.
But I think the wave is good. Like I think you definitely, yeah, you're like wanting to slow push waves. Okay, this. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of this queue. So the reason would be that obviously you get 2 off this creep, which is why you kill it. But they're still not 2 for a while. They've got like these 3 creeps to kill, right? And so again, the thing is like coming back to the cooldowns, if you have Q here, you can either, go forward with Zyra and Q them, or you can just have your Q up and zone them off super hard because you're level 2 and they're level 1. But I think if you use your cooldown, it makes your level 2 like a lot less threatening. Obviously, like he still ends up flashing away, but it's just I don't think it's really necessary. If anything, it just like kind of makes it easier for them because the wave will go to them sooner as opposed to you getting like to deny them longer. And it just like
Yeah.
it's a cooldown used for no reason. So yeah, same sort of thing, I think. And I think here, if you had Q, you could maybe be more aggressive. Like I think if you're level 2 and they're level 1, you could probably stand here and there shouldn't be many ways for him to do something. But I think here, you kind of feel like you have to play a bit further back because you didn't have that cooldown. So yeah, it all kind of adds up, just like a random Q being used like that. It actually ends up like pretty punishing. Okay, good trade. For you at least. Nice. Let's see. Oh, another thing I actually just like forgot to mention because honestly I'm a mid laner and I didn't think about it too much is normally when you play like with range support, it's better for the range support to be on the bush side and you for to be on this side because like they can control the bush and like go in and out a lot easier than you can. So I just remembered because I noticed you guys swapped like here, but I don't think you guys did it on purpose. But that's really important as well. Like try to remember, basically it's like yeah, positioning. So like range support should be on push side mostly. Honestly, I feel like most of the time even melee supports play bush side, but to be honest with you, I'm not 100% on that. Again, like that's gonna be the kind of like lack of knowledge, I guess, for me for bot lane. Like, and still teach you like lots of fundamental stuff, right? But stuff like that you might want to kind of check out on your own.
Okay.
Um, okay, this is all good. Yeah, so I probably wouldn't use Qs like this, to be honest. I think the W is good, but I think like right here, I don't think using the cooldown does anything for you because it's like, okay, you kind of you're gonna have to auto this whole wave down anyway. It's not like by queuing this that it's gonna like get under the tower. And instead, like all it uses is like a ton of your mana to kill that creep slightly faster, but now you have like no cooldown to zone this guy off at all. So I think you gotta be like way more, I don't know, like careful with the cooldowns. Like this one I think is good because you can hit 3 creeps and you're gonna base off it, and it's gonna make sure it goes under. So I like that queue. I just think a lot of them are sort of random. Basing here looks good. Long sword refillable. You can come back to frozen wave. Okay, yeah. I think you're in a pretty good spot. I like that. Yeah, and I think Q's here to thin out the wave kind of makes sense. I think you can play a little more aggressively here, honestly, because like, okay, you have a ton of sustain over your opponent. Like you have refillable and 2 biscuits, and he's completely
Mhm.
Like there is no way that he can force you out of lane before you force him out of lane, So I think here you can be like There's just kind of like concept in League where sometimes even trades aren't exactly even, which is like if you both trade 50 damage here to each other, it's like you have so much more sustain than him that even an even trade is not really worth it. And it's going to be a better than even trade anyway because you have like full mana and he doesn't have any. So obviously you can't trade too far, like you can't chase because there's too many creeps. But I think you can like pretty easily just like hit him or just like put a little bit of pressure on him, I guess. I think when you play all the way back like this, it doesn't really do much. Also, like, especially with like champs like Twitch, where they're like wave clear, is I guess like they have to throw it on the wave. If you can be standing apart from the wave, like if you're here, you can maybe like either order this guy when they walk up, or you can just like not take the W damage to begin with. Like obviously it doesn't do much, right? But you just want to be in that position to where you can kind of threaten them. Like I always talk about this for mid, but normally the like most pressuring position is kind of like standing next to the creep they want to CS. So like if he wants to CS this creep, you standing like here is the most threatening because like if he walks up, he gets autoed. Now again, like it's kind of hard here because there's a lot of creeps, but I think actually let's go back to earlier in the lane, like right here for example. I think that was kind of that was like a good trade. Um, Then like right here, I think you can be more aggressive. So like, where was it? Here, Nami used, what was it, W and E? Yeah, so Nami just used everything right here, and Twitch used everything as well. And you're still full HP. So I think like on these creeps, he should feel kind of pressured, like especially when you have Q. But the problem is Q just ends up being used on the creeps and you're standing so far back. So again, I'd say cooldowns is a big thing. Also, um, I guess like if you want to pressure opponent, like try stand further up on the wave. It's probably something you kind of have to not experiment with, but it's almost like a confidence you have to build because at the moment I feel like you're just focused on pushing the wave and not so much on trading. But if you watch like any really good ADC, you'll see that they create a lot of pressure even just by like clicking back and forth into their opponents, just like trying to bait out cooldowns or just trying to make the enemy feel like pressured when they're going for CS and stuff like that. Does that all make sense, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have questions, like, yeah, feel free to just ask.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think this is like a good example of like you're so much stronger than him. He's trying to go for a creep. You're hitting autos. If he gets healed by Nami, it's like whatever. Can't really do anything. Yeah, like I think this is really good. Nice pressure. Okay, so I would say you should. It's up to you. Do you want to push or freeze? So I think I would probably push this wave rather than freezing it because, okay, if you're a melee lane, you probably want to freeze this. And the reason is that for melee champs, like, Nautiluses, Leonas, whatever, having the wave on this side is normally better because it gives you like more like distance to run them down and it makes setting up ganks really easy. But when you're playing a range lane, normally, unless you're really scared of getting ganked, normally it's better to be pressuring them under your tower because you can under their tower, sorry, because you can get lots of damage to the tower, obviously, and it also makes it really hard for them to move because they don't have like a wide area to dodge skill shots. So, like what you did with the first three waves, I think is really good, and then like cheetah recalling, coming back, freezing, I think that's all great. But I think at this point, so I guess like here, I think pressuring like tower slash like yeah harass under tower is better with range lane. So I don't think you should. I don't think you want to keep freezing this because yeah, it's like you guys don't have great gank setup, and also you don't have a great ganking jungler. Like you just have a Kha'Zix. So like I don't think it like right here. I think this wave should probably just like keep slow pushing into them, and it doesn't really make sense that they're able to thin it out. So like you can you pressure Twitch. I'm not even sure how it happened. I guess like here, he kind of gets to use his W for free. Like you're not really in a great spot to pressure this. Like maybe you need to move down here now because see how he's just like autoing for free and like you're not autoing at all. That's just kind of fixing the wave a bit for them. Oof, that was close. Okay, okay. It actually did end up in a good spot, so I like it. You don't see their jungler. Jungler's Silas. I think the jungler should be bot side. Okay, you guys got the ward. Playing aggressive. Yeah, I think again, play further up here. So try and make it so that if he wants to come up for these creeps, that he feels really pressured. Like if he walks up and just W's the creep wave like that, you should be able to walk into him because he's used a cooldown. You know, like if you're up here right now, you can like E into him and just like Q him. Because again, if you take damage, like you have so much health that it doesn't even matter, you know? But because you're so far back, you can never punish the cooldown. So yeah, rather than like standing here, try getting in the habit of standing like in a line, I would say. I don't know if no, I don't have my pen anywhere. Just like, yeah, if he wants to get that creep, try be in a position to kind of pressure for it. In fact, I'll add that to like, so like identify the creep he wants, and then just like try position to make that difficult, right? Like if you, there's lots of ways you can do it. You can position to Q him, you can position to auto him, you could even position in front of it if you were that strong. Like I don't think you are yet, but it could be a thing, right? You're like really, really fed. But the problem is like the whole time he is just autoing. And actually another thing is if someone starts Doran's Blade, like he has here, a lot of his sustain is tied up in autos, you know? Whereas like a lot of your sustain, rather than auto attacks, comes from potions. So if you can ever zone someone off the wave that has Doran's Shield or Doran's Blade, they kind of lose all their sustain. But he is like, he's just like autoing non-stop, you know? Like it never really feels like he's being stopped from auto attacking, which is, I think it's bad. Okay, so it's going under. Okay, so you guys push on the tower and you come to drag. Silas is here as well. Okay. Okay, so there's like two things here. The first is that obviously Silas is on bot side, so he probably is gonna be like at least thinking about coming for this, but I think you can kind of know that they're not going to. So if you look at mid right now, like Xerath has priority over mid, so Victor's not gonna come. Also, you guys have priority over bot, so bot's not gonna come either. And on top of that, Shen has R, so if anything happens, like Shen can come. What that means is like if you want to come here and auto it, like that's completely fine. But you need to be back on this wave like as soon as you can. So let me just like get up Rift Kit. Whenever a wave is crashing, like the ADC always wants to kind of be there as soon as possible, whether it's like mid game or actually, you know, we'll probably see it in the mid game, but like right here, for example, right? So their AD and support are under tower. You come up here and auto it. You want to be back in this lane by the time the waves meet. And the reason is that if they decide they want to try crash it before resetting, you'll be able to stop them. Or if they just reset straight away, you can push the wave and then they're gonna lose it. If you spend too long here, what's gonna happen is like you come back, but you like get here late, Twitch is already like reset and back to here, and you won't be able to push it all the way under the tower in time. And then it's kind of like what happened to you, where it just like ends up frozen on their side. So I can just like sort of tell that's gonna happen here. So like right now, Twitch is probably resetting. Like see how the wave is. Oh, it's kind of hard to see because of the YouTube thing, but you see how the wave is like meeting on the map. Like you need to, you need to kind of be there now. So like all these orders are fine, but now you need to start walking back down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, this is tough because okay, and honestly, if you get here and you're too late to push, I think you need a base because you shouldn't stay on the map with 1k gold. Like that's a lot of gold, right? Like in general for basing, you kind of want to if you have like 1k gold plus, that's like we really need to think about basing at that point. And I'd say like once you get to like 1.5k plus, you're just like base, even if you lose stuff for it, because that's just like too much gold to be on the map with. So this is like really awkward because now you like can't push this under in time. And even though you're like ahead of Twitch, or you should be, you're now behind because like see how Twitch he's got like the 1300 gold plus the D blade, and you're just so far behind in combat stats, which like now you're kind of fucked to be honest, because like you need to punish Twitch early for being like weak and lame, but he's actually stronger than you in lane right now just because of his item. So I think like yeah, going back to this, I think the main learning is you need to be you just always need to be like paying attention to whatever wave you're farming. If it's like bot wave or mid wave or top wave or whatever, and like being there when the waves meet, that's really important. And then if you can't push this wave in time and you have like 1k plus gold, you just need to match base. Because otherwise, yeah, you end up in this situation where you just have like you're just at such a huge item deficit and you can't pressure anything, and it's really hard to base because you're going to lose a wave and a plate. Yeah, I'd say you probably clear this and base now, but like that's you kind of have to stay. Yeah, I don't know. This is just like super fucked. I would kind of just say don't get in this position, honestly. Okay. I feel like if you are in this position, like right now, you probably just do your best to clear one of these waves, and then at some point you just accept that you're gonna lose one and base. Because if you I don't know how long you end up staying here. You have 1800 gold, which is if you want to snowball the early game, obviously like you have to be spending your money and stuff, right? Because even though this is more efficient overall, like you get more total gold, just because you stay longer. The problem is like you just have been on the map for so long with so little pressure. So okay, and this Twitch, I think you can live here probably. I think you can just like I mean honestly there's like loads of ways you could live. You could either match flash with him, you could ghost early. Yeah, I feel like you should be willing to spend sums to live there because like the only way Twitch kind of needs kills to get ahead, he's not just like he's not a champ that does well if he's just 0-0. So if you can like use a sum here, sum from getting the kill, it's great. But also yeah, like you're just basing with 2.4k gold, right? That feels pretty bad. Um yeah, so I don't think this really makes that much sense either. So okay, I guess the reason you start walking top here is because like Sion's hitting this tower with oh wait, Sion's dead. That was his passive.
It's
So I
more so
think
because my top died.
yeah, but I think here it's like okay, if you go top, like then Twitch is gonna get stuff bot for free unless Shen TP's bot. But I don't think Shen should TP bot because like Drag's in 30. I think you should just be walking bot here because you're gonna get farm either way. You get farm on top or farm on bot. But the problem is, yeah, like you walk top here and Twitch just again gets like waves for free, and now you have to like walk down the entire map. So I think this kind of just ends up like sort of fucked overall. And I would just say it's just better. Well, normally you want to be going to the side with the objective on it, so dragon in 30 seconds. But yeah, I think Shen has TP and ult, so it's much better for him to be in the lane, like away from the objective. Um, Honestly, again, it feels like yeah, you gotta pay attention to those bot waves because right now it feels like you don't have like enough priority on the bot wave. I guess like it's just not as important in your head as it should be. Okay, so you flash away from that guy.
Oh, this one's embarrassing.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah, I only went because
yeah, I mean,
Shen ult, but it's like kind of troll regardless.
yeah, it's pretty bad, I'd say. I think the way you should do this is probably okay. If you're going to do this, I think you should crash the wave and then dive them on the wave because that's gonna mean that like, well, one, you have like some creeps to tank at the start of it. Two, if they die, they lose a lot more, like because they're gonna lose the whole wave. But also I just think like these guys don't really seem gankable right now, right? Like they're really far up, and I think yeah, just in general, I want you to prioritize the wave more. I think in general, just like whenever you're making a play, just like wave and then move, or like wave and then make the play, and like really prioritize like looking at bot wave a lot, because I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just shove this, honestly, and then you probably could dive them, because what ends up happening here is like you lose half your health before you can even like begin this play, and Kha'Zix has so much distance to cover that he doesn't even get in here for ages. And honestly, it still works out, sort of. Like, you still get the kills. I think it's not worth overall because Sion's going to get top, but I think it's a play that could have worked if you'd pushed the wave first. Okay. What happened here? I think Zara just kind of died. I honestly don't think there's like a whole lot you can do here. I kind of feel like this is just, you guys are in a lane where you need to be ahead and you've fallen behind. Like, Twitch is 3-1 and you're 0-2. Even though like you guys should win this lane, and now you're kind of far behind, it's just sort of difficult to do a whole lot. What the hell? Was that Zera though?
Yeah, I
What the fuck?
I was so confused too. I thought Silas took it, so I kept trying to dodge it.
Yeah, what on earth? What the fuck? I was like so confused. I'm like, this isn't doing damage to you, but like I don't even know what is it? Hey, Twitch dies big. Okay. Yeah, I think walking top here makes sense. Alex has to hold mid, so this is fine. There's Scion and yeah, okay. I fucking do it. Okay. This, I mean, this is such a Scion thing to do, but also, I think if you're versus any champ in the side lane, you need to be really careful of this. So the reason is that, like, okay, not even just from a point of view of them, like, being in the jungle, but if you just, like, look at the map right now, like, your bot side is strong side. That's where all your vision is. Like, you've got 3 wards down here, dragon spawning soon, all your alive teammates are on the bot side of the map. Top side of the map is, like, mega weak side. It's, like, only you, no vision, and no one else on this side of the map. So it's, like, okay, even if Scion doesn't end up being here, this is really, really fucking risky. It's like you are walking the most unsafe way possible. I think you either base and like walk out, or you walk like the really long way. So I guess okay, let's make a little mid game thing. Like yeah, in mid game try identify like strong side, that's weak side, and I think a good way to do that is like where are the numbers slash like vision here. I think clearly it's bot side. Also yeah, I guess as another kind of thing, most of the time after people shove waves like this, they have two choices, right? It's like they either group or they kill people on rotation. So the fact that Scion is still not mid at any point in here, it's like, okay, what else can he even be doing? I guess he could be farming something. Like I suppose he might have based, but you can't really know that. Most likely he's like either cheating or he's at that fight. And if he's not at that fight, then he's here. And same if this is any other champ as well. You know, if this is like Zed or LeBlanc or, you know, it doesn't really matter what it is. Honestly, you walk in here and even if you don't die, you lose all your health. Looks like you actually could have got out though. I think if you altered and then, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you really don't want to have to use your ult before drag, so.
I was planning on saving it until like I for sure needed to, and then he went into the bush and started charging Q, so I didn't have vision.
Right. Yeah.
I just felt like actually I played.
I hate Sion. Okay. Interesting lane assignments.
Is it better if Xerath is top?
Well, yes and no. So I'll kind of explain a little bit, and I mean we can talk about it, I guess. So normally the people that go mid in the mid game is whoever's gonna get the most priority, because it's like, okay, even if Xerath is in the side lane and he can't really, you know, like Xerath's not a great side laner, right? He doesn't really 1v1 very well. His wave clear is, I mean, it's good, but it's not like it's not instant, I suppose. It's not like amazing, and it costs quite a lot of mana. But the thing is, okay, there's just like two things. First off, if you and your support can get more priority mid, then you should almost always be mid, because like you will be able to use this priority to make Xerath safe, because what can happen is like your support can always walk up river, and then Xerath should be allowed to push. On the other hand, if you guys can't get priority mid, then you might as well put Xerath mid. And the reason is that if you guys can't get priority mid, like say you're all the way back here, and their support can walk into topside, then Xerath can't play the game anyway. So basically, I would say if you guys can't get priority mid, you should probably be top. But if you guys can get priority mid, then you guys should be mid. Now here, I'm honestly, they have a 3-2 Twitch. You have a 1-2 Zyra. Yeah, I feel like whoever goes mid can honestly kind of just get opened on. So, I don't know. I guess it's fine here for you to be top, but it's sort of because of how far behind you are. You know, like I think if you're strong, like you definitely want to be on mid wave, because if you're on mid wave, it just gives you so much access to do anything you want. Like you can push waves, you can pressure a side lane, which makes it hard for them to play. You can push the wave, farm camps, you know, farm raptors, farm wolves. But if you're top and your jungler and your mid doesn't get priority, you're just kind of stuck under the tower. So yeah, I don't know. You kind of did the right thing here, I suppose, but also you just shouldn't be this far behind. Like you're not going to be able to carry games if you're like this. You know, like a 0-3 Kaiser that's kind of forced to like see what I mean here? How like you kind of just have to play like super far back because your mid can't get any prior either. It just feels like shit. Honestly, it feels really fucking bad. Okay, he's kind of clearing. Oh, shot, this guy died, you. Yeah, no, okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at least you're getting farms, so like, that's the main thing. This guy's a psycho. What the fuck is that guy up to? Nice. And the ghost, okay, we love the ghost. Oh, close. Oh, damn. Okay, so honestly, I really, really, really like this. I think this is really good, even though, like, you end up fucking dying, right? I think that there's not really another way to play Kai'Sa. You know, like, if you're 1-3, it's not like you can suddenly just, like, sit back and play utility for your team. Like, no, you don't really do anything. So, I like what you do here. Honestly, like, I haven't seen that many team fights yet, right? But so far, I think your team fighting has been, like, based off this fight and the, like, one other skirmish you had before, I mean, your team fighting looks pretty good to me. I just think you're so far behind. You know, like, let's just say instead of being 1-3 here, you're like, I don't know, just a little bit more fair, like 2-0. You just end up getting, like, a triple kill here of 1v3, right? And then suddenly, you're just, like, the most insane player in the world. And I think it's, like, not that hard to go from where you are now to just being able to win that fight 1v3. Like, those guys are even, like, really fed. If they were weak as well from you winning, like, it'd just be so easy. So, yeah, you ended up dying, but honestly, I think it was a really good play. I guess maybe...
I think I could have used W later and it would have killed Twitch.
Yeah, I think also... Where did you use W to begin with? Oh, you used W on that guy. Okay, we still have Ghost running. But maybe you could have put autos here on Twitch. Like, maybe you could have just killed... Oh, he Ws. I mean, the W misses. Because if you can get one auto on him and ult, can you kill? Does he have exhaust? Nami has exhaust, right? Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe you can't go on. Which? Oh, they don't end up having exhaust. Yeah, probably could have. I think at the start it might be better just to hit Twitch after this because actually, yeah, like right now. Okay, the Science just used all cooldowns and this is like a half HP Twitch. I think if you just like honestly like went on the Twitch, you would probably kill him, especially because Kha'Zix can follow up. But yeah, I mean, like, that's, like, really min-maxing the fight, and I think... You can, I mean, 100% that's important, but also if you're just like a little bit more fed, it makes this fight 10 times easier. Okay, so push bot. For some reason, no one's farming mid, but that's not really your fault. Okay, come to fight. Shadow wave. Nice, I like that.
In situations like these, is it like does it make sense to ping bot turret and try to get that while
Not
they're just gonna?
really. So again, well, we can kind of look at it here. So the problem is, like, you guys are sort of on a timer here more than you realize. So the reason is, like, mid wave is crashing, top wave is crashing, and Baron is up. So, like, what if they're a good team here, what they do is they can just, like, either just, like, sit here and wait, and then, you know, just, like, kind of posture. And if you guys don't start Dragon, then you guys just lose, like, 300 gold mid, 300 gold top. And if the fight is just, like, uncontestable for them, they can just like run to Baron as soon as you show bot. So I think honestly showing bot right now is probably fine because you just saw their jungler, but I don't think there's any chance you pressure them the bot tower because like
Yeah,
yeah,
I
if like
wasn't.
you hit bot, they just get Baron. And yeah, like okay, going back to this midwave thing, I think that I think that normally you should be the one mid because like whoever controls mid again like controls the dragon. Now I think you being bot here is probably fine. It's kind of Xerath's fault for not going here, but at the same time, I think if you're the one that's like really fed and in control of the game, like you can decide which lane you go to, and then like mid wave is the most important wave for contesting objectives. So yeah, but I like what you did here. I just think it kind of ended up fucked because Xerath was the one that should have been mid. Um, yeah, I probably
If
wouldn't do
Xerath,
this. There you
if
go.
Xerath had pushed mid, would it have been better?
Yeah, I think if well, like let's see, if Xerath, so let's say Xerath like pushed this wave in and then comes, I still think you don't really want to hit bot tower because I think that if the AD shows on bot, they can just like run to Baron and it's gonna be really late for you getting there. Like
Okay.
I like killing these waves and coming back, but I think just like hitting because like this takes you like 2 seconds and it denies them a ton of gold, so that's really good. But I think just like sitting there and hitting the tower, I think that's just like way too much time investment.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I actually don't. Mm, I feel like this is yeah. Actually, it's fine. Like you guys have a lot of control, although your team stars dragon. Well, I guess it's fine. Yeah, I guess it's like risky, but it's also really good if you get away with it. And I like that you're like looking at your team. You know, you're panning over to them and seeing what they're doing. I think that's good.
Yeah, because it always happens. Like no matter what I ping,
Yeah, I
they will
know.
just do what they want.
Yeah, it's so annoying, but yeah, no, I like it. And it's like gets you XP, gets you gold. Okay, we're hitting drag. Okay, that was Dragon Soul. I think your positioning here could probably be better. So I think that like the fight's kind of taking place up here. In my mind, oh, the wave is kind of annoying. I'm just thinking like the way you're positioned right now makes it so you can never follow up any damage. Like I think you kind of want to be where Zyra is, like still behind your team, but in a position to where you can go in and out. And it's kind of like the same thing as when we had in lane. You know, it's like if you position this far back, you don't have any options. Your only option is to just like keep hitting, right? Whereas if you can stand somewhere that gives you options, like maybe you can go in if the fight looks good, or you can go out if the fight looks bad. So I'd say like yeah, in general, just like trying to position like to give yourself more options. I feel like that's like pretty vague. So I guess like honestly just like more forward most of the time. Obviously you don't want to be like in front of your team, but I think your positioning is really passive a lot of the time and it doesn't really like pressure. You know, a lot of the time just by standing somewhere you kind of create pressure, right? Like if Kai'Sa is showing up here, it's more pressuring than if Kai'Sa is showing down here. I think like, yeah, if you're here, yeah, realistically, there probably isn't that much you could do. You could probably last hit that Scion, and then maybe you leave. Yeah, okay, so maybe you get the Scion kill, and then you leave, which makes that, like, slightly better. But I think... Oh, they didn't go Baron? You probably need to... Well, you might be able to get this. Yeah, I don't really hate that. It's like... Ooh, I don't know, you
Oh,
don't have
that
any...
one.
Yeah, you don't have any wave clear, so it's like... You kind of Kind of can't do anything. Okay, you did end up losing a tower. I think you probably should base. Yeah, I guess you probably have to base. But honestly, what you did, I feel like it's not bad. You know, it's like of the two choices, I think maybe basing is a bit better, but at least you did something. It's not like you were just like doing raptors or some shit. Okay, you guys get a kill. I guess you get Baron. Krug's top. Okay, yeah, you're really fed now. And this is... Are you building Rage Blade or Wit's End?
Uh, Wits End.
Okay, they have what, Victor to... Yeah, okay. I think it's good.
I don't know which one is better third item.
I think like damage-wise, it would definitely be Rage Blade. But I think this game, like, yeah, they have a fed Victor. Like Twitch is a little bit of magic, right? And then Nami's magic, Saya's magic. So yeah, I think it's good.
This was just so.
Hmm. Okay. I feel like this is like sort of weird. So this part at the start is good. I think the moment Victor shows here where it's like an isolated carry, just like split off from his team, like you really want to be looking to W that guy. I think you want to be finding a way to like, if he ults your team, you can dash onto him. Now, obviously, it just ends up being like a kind of a freebie, but I think it's like sort of weird. The Victor is like, you know, isolated carry off on his own, and he's just like literally used every cooldown on your team. He's like WE and he's about to ult them, and he's not taking any damage for it. You know, I think this is like the moment I see this, I'm thinking, okay, you just like solo kill this guy, and then you know, whatever. Okay, I mean, he instantly died anyway, but I'd be thinking like
Yeah,
this just
no,
looks
it's
so
so.
criminal from him. Like he just looks so dead. I guess he died anyway, but yeah. Okay, clear wave, get red. This is all good. I probably wouldn't go top. Yeah, so I don't really like going top here. So the reason would be that, like, Shen is already farming this, so you don't really need to be there. The only reason you would want to be there is for, like, pushing down the towers. But when you have Baron, you want to play two waves normally, right? Like, you want to play, like, mid-top or mid-bot, because that allows you to just, like, Baron up and, like, pressure the towers. But you don't want to group on the Shen. Like, Shen should be the one in anything, because he has TP and he has ult. So I think here you should stay mid and just like keep pressuring the tower with Baron waves. And then Shen can just like do whatever he wants top. Or Shen could go mid and you could send four people top, which is probably better, honestly. But coordinating that in solo queue when these guys are just like running around bot side, it's not really going to work. So yeah, I think you should stay mid here. I guess you probably kill this guy, which is nice.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking to like lane swap. I just wanted to kill him.
Yeah, I think it's worse for your Baron overall, though. Like, if you just look at the mid wave, you end up having to give up mid prior, and then that means you can't really get any more towers with this. Like, I don't think the Scion kill is really super worth it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this just ends up kind of fucked, because, like, look at your mid wave the whole time. I think it's way better if, like, just go all the way back. Yeah, I think you just, like, keep Baron buffing mid, and maybe also you kind of got to play towards your team a little bit. You know, like your jungler is going to the other side of the map. So this is honestly like pretty fucking greedy. Like look how split up you guys are. Like support and jungle the bot side, and then the other three members are all top side. So that's like really kind of whack. Now what the fuck happened here? Is this gonna ult already? Okay. Right, okay. Yeah, that's all fine, I guess. I got Shen ults in. Nice ult. What the fuck is Shen shield? Holy fuck. Okay, that's insane, dude. What is that? It's your whole health bar. Okay. Alright, nice. You get the kill. I think this also is pretty fucking greedy. So you probably don't see this because it's the middle of the fight, but Twitch is coming topside. So because you don't see that, it's hard to tell. But what you can see here is like, again, your mid wave is like mega shoved, so your team is like really far away, you know? Like Zyra's all the way back here. I guess Kha'Zix is like sort of close, and Xerath has TP, but I think their team just gets here so much earlier than yours does. Yeah, that's rough. I think yeah, I think here you probably just take tower and back off, I'd say. It ends up going like kind of well for you, but I think that was like really this is like potentially game losing, and it's sort of like for what, you know? It's like
Yeah,
okay,
so
we get like one Scion kill, which doesn't impact the game like at all. Like okay, maybe this part at the start is like decent, but this is really psychotic. It's just yeah, if you fucking die here, man, and well like 2 or 3 of your teammates die, it's a lot of gold given over. But okay, we're getting the wit's end, and we're very strong. Who is this? Oh, that's Victor. I couldn't even fucking tell what champ that was.
yeah. I thought it was Silas.
Yeah, it kind of looks like. Yeah, I don't know. Why is it so hard to see? I guess he's just like in the bush. Okay, anyway, so he dies. Now this is. Okay, so this is Elder. Yeah, okay, it's Elder. Get that.
Oh, here I'm talking to Shen. That's
Yeah.
why it's like
Okay, I actually kind of like this as well. And the reason would be that, like, again, the mid wave is really important, right? So if you can cut this mid wave, it's really good. But I think it's very hard to do this without any sums and while your team's on Dragon. Like, if you have. The thing is, if they don't know you're on Dragon, they probably can't go on you because they'll be scared. And also, if you have sums, like, it's a bit easier to outplay. I guess maybe with Shen, you can live. Yeah, okay. I guess you guys end up winning it. Yeah, I don't
how
know.
do you
I
feel
think it's,
about that
like,
old?
pretty good. I just think yeah, it's kind of rough, I guess, because like again, you're not really that strong. Like, cause you're only 3-4. I mean, you are strong, but you're not like super strong, and you don't have any sums. But yeah, I kind of respect the limit test, and then I guess you guys just like end off that, right? Yeah, nice, good target priority. That was really good awareness. So many people would just like hit this on here, but that was really nice. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so let's see. I would say that the good news is I think your team fighting is pretty good. So that's like a plus because that's like a big part of ADC, right? And honestly, probably the part that ADCs complained about the most. So the fact that you're good at that is great. I think that in terms of things to work on, biggest things would be I'd say like cleaning up laning phase. So this would be part of it is just like knowing more laning fundamentals about like, you know, what kind of like wave do you want like in the matchup. It could be um you know, abusing sustain difference. It could be actually, you know, to be very specific, I think abusing sustain difference, like thinking about cooldowns, like both like punishing and respecting them. I think also like positioning more aggro to threaten CS, and maybe also like trying or like really prioritizing the wave and base timers early game. It's like, yeah, like that one time where you stayed on drag for too long, that ended up really bad. And yeah, like the base was also really bad, and that made you just like fall behind a lot. I guess just remember that Kai'Sa is meant to kind of not like snowball the early game, but it's a champ that doesn't really do anything from behind. You know, she snowballs really well, but she's like really fucking useless if you fall behind. And a champion like Twitch, that champ should kind of lose lane most of the time. Like obviously he's got Nami to make it a lot easier, but I think he should still lose, and he kind of got away with it. So yeah, biggest thing would be cleaning up the early game. I think um I guess more in the mid game, I'd say again like trying to prioritize mid waves if possible. Just like, you know, push wave and then move, or like, you know, push mid wave and then like yeah, make a play or whatever you want to do. Yeah, and I think maybe like more aggro positioning at the start of fights, because it feels like once the fight gets started, you like start being quite aggressive. But I'm just thinking like, that one time at drag, you probably could have killed the Scion. The one time at that fight down kind of like at the bot, like not try, but down like near the bot Gromp, you could have killed that Victor straight away if you kind of had the killer instinct. So yeah, I think you can be a bit more aggro with that. Um, and maybe the last thing would be try keep track of your teammates in mid game, because I feel like you want to play to their side. So when you're doing something like, walking through your no vision top side while your whole team is bot side and all your vision's bot side, like that doesn't make sense. I think when you're trying to kill that Scion top side while you're like jungle and support a bot side, that's pretty fucking risky. Um, yeah, I'd say just like that kind of stuff. But I think the lane is like the big thing, because if you come out of lane stronger than you are now, it's just gonna be way better. Like I just saw you play a game where you started off like 0-4 or something. I don't know where you started. Okay, 0-3. And honestly, like you had a lot of impact this game. So if you start the game, even 1-0 as opposed to 0-4, like you're gonna carry the game, right? I would hope so. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. Do you have any questions about any of this stuff?
Um, no.
Okay, what I would really recommend you doing is just like um going to like YouTube whenever you play a matchup, and just like YouTube like Kaiser versus Twitch, and maybe put like KR Challenger just to make sure it's like a good replay. And then obviously it's going to be like slightly different because of support matchups and whatever, right? But you'll probably see like way more aggressive play, or just like maybe you want some idea of like how you want to play the lane. Like this is sort of weird because it's like fucking Astra's Blitzcrank, but I think you can like go through these and kind of find one that's like sort of similar to how you want to play, and just like kind of compare like their laning phase to yours, because I think that more than anything you will see like a really big difference in how they lane compared to like how you lane. You might even want to find one that's not quite so fed. Like another way you can do this actually is um if you go to League of Graphs, I believe. Just check. I believe it's this. Yeah, if you go League of Graphs, replays, and then we filter like, so we go Kaiser versus Twitch, and then let's just go, I don't know, Master Plus, Ria. Okay, and then we could kind of go through here and find one where they're not like super fed, but they kind of did well. Actually, there's only 4 replays. How is there only 4 replays? I guess it's an uncommon matchup. But anyway, you could just like, so the way you watch these is you just like click watch, download and run. Then you just like click this basically and just click more info, run anyway. And then what should happen is yeah, it'll load up the game like this and kind of like the replay file. And then you can just basically watch, well, hopefully it loads. If it doesn't, it's gonna be awkward. Yeah, okay, it's gonna load. You can just like look at the lane and kind of, yeah, maybe figure out some of the, yeah, I guess just like some of the differences in your lane and their lane, because obviously there's always going to be support specific stuff. Oh wait, is this broken or not? Or maybe this replay is broken. Okay, never mind, maybe you can't do that, but it's an option, right? You just want to find something where you can find the matchup and then watch it, because I think that's like the best way to improve your lane, is just like watch it and kind of compare things. And actually, so like just make a little thing here, like for watching lanes, like the things to look for is, are there any like special runes slash items? Like when do they trade? Like, and why? It could be like cooldown advantage. It could be like a level advantage thing. It could even be like a matchup advantage thing. Like if they just win trades when all cooldowns are up because their matchup is better. And maybe like what do they do with the waves? Also, actually, sums on this as well. Sums. And maybe the last one would be like positioning. Just like try and watch through like 10 minutes and just like try and pay attention to these things and try think a lot about the why. Try and think about like why they're doing stuff. But yeah, okay. I think that's pretty much everything. So I'll copy this to you. There we go. So yeah, I'll upload it for you. And if you have other questions, obviously you can just like message me whenever. But yeah, hopefully it was helpful for you. Um, all right, sweet. Any last questions?
Yeah, I actually wanted to know if you knew anybody that did this type of style of videos, like for YouTube for AD carry.
As far as I know, the best player is probably Arrow. Um, yeah, I think Arrow, like he hasn't made any videos in a while, but Arrow has some like really, really good videos. I think like there's like one in here about laning. Let's see if I can find it. Laning. Yeah, I've actually watched these. Like, yeah, come watch these like wave management guides. I think these ones are really good. Um, Other people, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, now these are fucking good videos. I love these videos. Other people, who else? I think people have mentioned Fusion Saber. I've never watched him personally, so I have no idea. Okay, actually, this doesn't really look like. Oh, maybe this is like coaching sessions, so maybe him. Um, yeah, those are the only two I can think of. Oh, Cookie as well. I think people have said that Cookie has pretty good. Like he kind of makes fucking meme videos, but I know like down here somewhere there's like coaching sessions. Where is it?
Yeah, I was kind of like
Yeah, this one.
uh pushed away from watching Cookie just because of
Because of all these. Yeah, he's got it a bit unhinged. But yeah, I think like some of his like these coaching ones that are, you know, there's just a bunch of them on here. You could have a look at those. I don't know though, because yeah, I don't watch much ADC content obviously, but yeah, you might want to look into those three.
and then
All right, sweet. Well, I think we're pretty much good. Do you think it was useful? Because obviously, like again, I think I have good ADC fundamentals, but like for sure there'll be details that I'm lacking, you know?
oh yeah, I think it was really useful because I do notice that like once mid game comes, I do tend to get killed a lot versus assassins or so, champions of that type
Yeah.
in the rotations.
Okay.
And yeah, there were just a lot of things that I just had to notice that I didn't do.
Yeah, okay. Sweet. Yeah, I definitely think like some of it will just be, once you're aware of it, you'll just start to fix it naturally. Like just kind of seeing it for yourself, like how you kind of like, yeah, I don't know, maybe you wander through somewhere that's like really greedy, but there's like no vision, or maybe like you're not punishing people as much as you should. Just like, yeah, any of that sort of stuff, just being aware of it would be good. But anyway, sweet. So I'll go upload it and then I'll send it to you probably, yeah, I'll probably send it to you later today. And yeah, if you have like questions whenever, just message me. But yeah, sweet.
I'll talk to you later then.
All right, good luck. Bye bye.